Alright guys, so in reply to a comment I got on YouTube the other day, here is a tutorial on how I made the transcendental rhythmical ambient pads for this tune. I just released this on an EP and the link for the whole EP is right here and down in the comments. But right now we're going to have a little look under the hood and have a look how I made this pad here, okay, from the ground up, synthesis, and then how I implemented it into this tune. So let's take a look. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a unique sounding pad, and to do that you don't need expensive plugins. What you need is to use your familiar equipment and combine things in interesting ways. So I'm going to go into Ableton's synth strings sound library, right, and there's the off-world strings. You can use any synth string preset you want, but I'm just going to use this. And I'm going to put in a note on C3. Let's take a listen to that. And maybe just dial in these parameters here. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to group that into an instrument rack. And what we want now is a field recording. And I much prefer nature samples. And we're going to be layering this with the synth, alright? Now if you need nature samples, I just put out a sample pack which has loads of them, and jungle breaks, ambient pads, and the original pad from that tune we just heard is all on this sample pack. I'll put a link for it right here and down in the comments. But let's just grab a field recording and drag that onto the track. So now let's have a listen. So we got that synth and the sample of some birds singing, okay, together. And I'd like them to both be playing into the same space, right? And to do that, I'm going to put an echo device after here, right? And let's give it a bunch of reverb and set it to ping pong mode. And maybe give it some saturation. Now what we want to do now is sample this, okay? I'm going to set the input to come from this track. Cool, so now we've got the sample, I'm going to drag that into a sampler, okay? So I'm going to use the sampler, right click in here, and let's put in some chords. I'm going to put in A minor 7th chord. You can use any chords you like. Take a listen. Cool. Now I'm going to activate this ping pong loop thing here, okay? And set a loop region like here. And activate crossfade. Now let's take a listen. Let's go back into the MIDI clip and make the notes a bit shorter and give it a bunch of release in the amp envelope so we get that nice classical pad sound. Turn retrigger off. Nice, so we're starting to get the sound, and next what I want to do is get a Redux device here and just kind of give it some soft shaping here and maybe reduce it to 12-bit. Cool, and let's copy that echo device over from the original track. Maybe cut out some of the lows. Nice. So the next thing I want to do is transpose the sample here. So it's really high up because in a minute we're going to transpose it down, okay? So let's record this into an audio track. Cool, so now we've got our sample. I'm gonna go into the warp mode here and change it to Complex Pro. And now I'm gonna transpose it down like an octave. Let's take a listen. So in Complex Pro mode, we have the option to adjust the formant here. And this is gonna give us a really unique sound because it's gonna give us a combination of the original pitch and the transposed pitch in a really unique way. So let's play around with these parameters. Sounding pretty nice right about there. So now we've got that, I'm just going to sample this again. Okay guys, so now we've got the sample there. I'm going to go back to the project I was talking about before and show you how I work with this pad to get like a transcendental vibe out of it. So let's go. Okay guys, so I've loaded up the beat and let's go grab that sample we just made and drop it in a sampler. So we can use the simpler device and let's just put in a MIDI clip. And I just want like a long sustained note, okay? I'm gonna put it on C3. I want it to loop every 4 measures. And let's activate the loop here inside Simpler. I'm going to give it some crossfade. Just select a region you like. So that's working pretty nicely, and next thing I'm going to do is transpose it. I like it about there. And what you could do after this is to put a sidechain on there and compress it to the kick drum so you get like a ducking which will lock it to the groove in like a really nice way. But that's kind of typical. And what I'm going to show you now is an alternative technique which I use. So I'm going to drop a gate on here. And what I'm going to do is activate the sidechain in the gate. And I've got a track up here which is muted. But what it is a 909 kick drum on the first beat and on a weak beat. Okay, and I'm going to use that to trigger the sidechain, alright? So let's set the input to come from that 909 track. And we immediately have like a rhythmic element to the pad where it's working with the beat, creating a kind of a groove. But we've got this floor parameter here, and I'm going to gradually just turn that up. Now we have a combination of the sidechain gate and just the raw transcendent synth. And let's take this a bit further, and I'm just going to put an auto filter on just to cut out some of the high end. And maybe what about some saturation? That is basically how I got the sound, guys. You could automate this floor parameter. So on some parts of the tune, just have it grooving like with with the beat like that, and then on another part you could automate it so that it comes up and you've got like the full pad there. So yeah, shouts again to JDP 2007 for sending me down this rabbit hole and having to research how I actually made the sound. I learn a lot because I forget how I've made stuff, and it's good to go back and check it out. If you don't want to do all that stuff and you just want the samples, they're available on Sounds of a Forgotten World 2, which is linked right here and down in the comments. If you'd like more exclusive content like this, samples, and to download all the Ableton live sets from my YouTube tutorials, that's available via my Patreon. There's a link for that here and down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. Peace.